The storm came without warning that Tuesday night in rural Montana. Lightning split the sky like broken glass, and thunder shook the ground so hard that cattle scattered across the fields. Old Pete Johnson was checking on his livestock when he saw it happen. A ball of fire streaked across the black sky, bigger than any meteor he had ever seen. It moved wrong, changing direction twice before slamming into the earth about 5 miles from his ranch. The impact shook his house so hard that dishes fell from the kitchen shelves. Pete grabbed his flashlight and drove his pickup truck toward the crash site. What he found there made him call the sheriff immediately. The thing that had fallen from the sky was not a rock or a plane. It was a massive metal structure, easily the size of a city block. Strange lights pulsed along its surface in patterns that hurt to look at. The air around it shimmered like heat waves, even though the night was cold. Sheriff Bob Miller arrived 30 minutes later with 2 deputies. None of them had ever seen anything like it. The object was clearly artificial, but the design was unlike any human technology. Smooth curves flowed into impossible angles, and the metal seemed to shift color when viewed from different positions. "We need to call this in to the feds," Sheriff Miller said, backing away from the strange craft. "This is way above our pay grade." By dawn, the crash site was swarming with military vehicles. Black helicopters circled overhead while soldiers in hazmat suits established a perimeter. The local residents were told there had been a chemical spill and were moved to safe areas. Dr. Amanda Price arrived on the 3rd day as part of the scientific team. She was a xenobiologist from the University of California, one of the few people in the world who studied the possibility of alien life. When she first saw the crashed vessel, her heart raced with excitement and fear. "My God," she whispered to her colleague, Dr. Ben Carter. "It's real. It's actually real." Colonel Jake Morrison was in charge of the military operation. He was a career soldier who had seen action in 3 different countries, but nothing had prepared him for this. The craft was clearly not from Earth, and that fact terrified him more than any enemy he had ever faced. "What do we know about the occupants?" Morrison asked Dr. Price during their first briefing. "We haven't been able to get inside yet," she replied. "The hull is made of some kind of material we can't identify. Our cutting tools barely scratch it, but we're detecting life signs inside, though they're very weak." Lisa Rodriguez, a communications expert from the NSA, had been trying to detect any radio signals from the craft. On the 4th day, she made a breakthrough. "Colonel, I'm picking up some kind of transmission," she reported. "It's not like anything we've ever heard before. The patterns are too complex to be natural, but I can't decode them." Dr. Carter, a quantum physicist, was fascinated by the energy readings coming from the vessel. "The power source is incredible," he told the team. "It's generating more energy than a nuclear reactor, but with no radiation signature. If we could understand how it works, it would revolutionize everything." On the 5th day, they found a way inside. A section of the hull had been damaged in the crash, creating an opening just large enough for a person to squeeze through. Dr. Price volunteered to be the first to enter. The interior of the craft was breathtaking. Corridors curved and impossible, directions lit by a soft blue glow that seemed to come from the walls themselves. The air was breathable, though it tasted slightly metallic. Dr. Price found the crew quarters first. 3 beings lay motionless on what appeared to be medical beds. They were tall and graceful, with pale skin that had a crystalline quality. Their faces were humanoid but elongated, with large eyes that remained closed. They appeared to be dead, though their bodies showed no signs of decay. "These beings are beautiful," Dr. Price reported over her radio. "They look peaceful, like they were sleeping when they died." In the central chamber of the vessel, she discovered something that would change everything. Banks of glowing panels surrounded a central console that pulsed with soft light. Strange symbols flowed across the screens in patterns that seemed almost alive. Dr. Carter joined her in the chamber. "This appears to be their main computer system," he said, studying the displays. "The technology is beyond anything we have, but some of the principles look familiar." As they examined the console, Dr. Carter accidentally touched one of the glowing panels. The entire room lit up, and the symbols on the screens began moving faster. A pleasant tone filled the air, and suddenly the symbols were replaced by English words. "Welcome," appeared on the main screen. This vessel belongs to the Valari research expedition. If you are reading this message, our ship has suffered critical damage. We are explorers and scientists, seeking to document and study developing civilizations across the galaxy. The team stared at the screen in amazement. The vessel's computer system had somehow learned their language in seconds. We mean no harm, the message continued. Our mission is peaceful. We study species that show promise for eventual membership in the galactic community. Your world was marked for observation and guidance. Dr. Price felt a chill run down her spine. They were watching us, she whispered. More text appeared. If you are accessing this system, it means our crew has perished. We leave this knowledge as a gift to your species. Use it wisely. Rapid advancement without wisdom leads to destruction. The screen filled with star maps, technical diagrams, and information about dozens of alien civilizations. The amount of knowledge was overwhelming, but at the bottom of the screen, a warning message flashed in red. Distress beacon activated. Response vessels en route. Estimated arrival, 547 of your days. Colonel Morrison felt his blood turn to ice. They're coming, he said quietly. More of them are coming to Earth. Dr. Carter was already studying the technical diagrams. We have less than 2 years to understand this technology, he said. If more ships are coming, we need to be ready. Dr. Price looked around the alien vessel with new eyes. This beautiful ship wasn't just a crashed spacecraft anymore. It was a door that humanity had opened, whether they were ready or not. And now there was no going back. The storm that had brought the Valari to Earth was over, but Amanda Price knew that a much bigger storm was coming. The question was whether humanity would be strong enough to weather it. 6 months after the crash, the world had changed in ways that seemed impossible. The Valari ship had become the most important location on Earth, surrounded by the largest scientific operation in human history. Dr. Ben Carter stood in his new laboratory, built just half a mile from the crash site. In front of him sat the first human-built device powered by alien technology. It was the size of a toaster but generated enough clean energy to power a small city. The principles are actually quite simple once you understand them, he explained, to General Patricia Hayes, who had flown in from the Pentagon. They manipulate quantum fields in ways we never thought possible. We've compressed what should have taken us 50 years of research into 6 months. General Hayes studied the device, with a mixture of wonder and concern. How many of these have you built, Doctor? 12 so far, Carter replied. But we're scaling up production. By next month, we should have enough to power every major military base in the country. The general frowned. What about civilian applications? Dr. Carter's face darkened slightly. The president has classified all alien-derived technology as a national security asset. Civilian research has been suspended indefinitely. This decision had caused a major split within the scientific team. Dr. Amanda Price had fought against the militarization of the alien technology, but she had been overruled at every level. This isn't what the Valari would have wanted, she argued, during a heated meeting with Colonel Morrison. Their message was clear. They were peaceful explorers. We're turning their gift into weapons. Morrison looked tired. He had been working 18-hour days for months coordinating the largest reverse engineering project in history. Amanda, we have less than a year before more ships arrive. We don't know if they'll be as peaceful as the Valari. We have to be prepared for anything. At MIT, Dr. Kevin Park was working on the most ambitious project yet. The Valari ship's computer system had revealed the basics of artificial intelligence that made human computers look like pocket calculators. Park was attempting to build Earth's first quantum AI. The alien system processes information in 11 dimensions simultaneously, he explained to his team. If we can replicate even a fraction of that capability, we'll have computers that can solve problems we can't even imagine yet. His colleague, Ashley Turner, was more focused on practical applications. She had started a private company that was secretly working with the government to reverse engineer alien materials. Her team had already created new alloys that were stronger than steel, but lighter than aluminum. The commercial applications are endless, she told her investors during a classified briefing. Their metamaterials can change properties on command, Imagine armor that becomes harder when hit, or buildings that can repair themselves. But the most disturbing discoveries were being made by Lisa Rodriguez. As she worked to decode more of the Volari's communication systems, she uncovered fragments of their original mission logs. They were studying us for years before the crash, she reported to the senior staff. Their records go back at least 50 years. They were documenting our technological progress, our social development, our military capabilities. Dr. Price felt sick as she read the translated logs. They were preparing a report for something called the Galactic Preservation Council. Earth was classified as a primitive but promising species that might be ready for contact in another 1,000 years. Colonel Morrison leaned forward. 1,000 years? They thought we needed 1,000 more years of development? That's not the worst part, Rodriguez continued. The logs mention other species that developed too quickly. The Council has protocols for dealing with what they call aggressive expansion civilizations. The protocols involve containment or elimination. The room fell silent. Dr. Carter was the first to speak. How quickly is too quickly? Rodriguez pulled up another section of the alien records. According to their standards, the technological advancement we've achieved in 6 months should have taken us at least 300 years. We're developing at a rate that they classify as dangerous. This revelation sent shockwaves through the human command structure. Not only were more aliens coming to Earth, but humanity's rapid progress with their technology might make them see humans as a threat. General Hayes made a decision that would change everything. We accelerate all projects immediately. If they think we're dangerous now, wait until they see what we can really do. The next 3 months saw an explosion of human innovation that defied all previous scientific progress. Teams working around the clock cracked the secrets of Volari propulsion systems, energy weapons, and defensive shields. Dr. Carter's team built the first human spacecraft capable of faster-than-light travel. It was crude compared to the Volari ship, but it worked. Test flights to the edge of the solar system proved that humans could now travel between stars. Ashley Turner's company produced the first quantum-enhanced weapons, handheld devices that could punch holes through tank armor or protective suits that could deflect energy weapons. The military applications seemed endless, but the most significant breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Nancy Williams, a neurobiologist who had joined the team late, made a discovery about the Volari themselves that changed everything. Their brain structure is completely different from ours, she explained to the assembled scientists. They process information, sequentially, one complex calculation at a time. It makes them incredibly thorough and precise, but also slow. Dr. Price studied the brain scans Williams had taken of the deceased Volari crew. What does this mean for us? Human brains are chaotic, Williams continued. We process multiple streams of information simultaneously, make intuitive leaps, and adapt rapidly to new situations. What we call creativity, they would see as dangerous instability. The implications were staggering. Humans weren't just learning alien technology faster than expected. They were fundamentally different from any species the Volari had encountered. Colonel, Morrison stared at the data. You're saying we think differently than they do? More than that, Williams replied. We innovate differently. They perfect existing knowledge over centuries. We take new information and immediately start changing it, improving it, combining it with other concepts. It's why we've advanced so quickly with their technology. As the first-year anniversary of the crash approached, humanity had transformed, from a single-planet species to one capable of interstellar travel and warfare. Secret facilities around the world were producing alien hybrid technology at an incredible pace. But the alien ship itself had one more surprise. Deep in its data cores, Dr. Rodriguez discovered a final message that the Volari had tried to send before they died. Warning, the message read. Planet designation Earth 3 shows unprecedented adaptation rate to advanced technology. Species demonstrates concerning levels of aggressive innovation. Recommend immediate council intervention before species achieves interstellar capability. The message was never sent due to the crash, but its implications were clear. The Volari had been planning to recommend that the Galactic Council take action against humanity even before humans had touched their technology. Dr. Price sat in her quarters that night, staring out at the stars. In 1 year, humanity had gone from wondering if they were alone in the universe to becoming something that aliens feared. The irony was bitter. The very curiosity and adaptability that made humans special also made them dangerous. Colonel Morrison found her there an hour later. The early warning satellites detected something, he said quietly. Long-range sensors show multiple objects approaching the outer solar system. They'll be here in 6 months. Amanda Price nodded. She had known this day would come. Are we ready? Morrison's smile was grim. Dr. Carter finished the first battle. Cruiser yesterday. We have 12 more under construction. Ashley Turner's weapons are being installed on every ship. Dr. Park's AI systems are online and learning. He paused, looking out at the same stars. The question isn't whether we're ready for them. The question is whether they're ready for us. As Amanda Price watched the stars that night, she realized that humanity had crossed a line from which there was no return. They were no longer the peaceful, primitive species the Volari had found. In trying to prepare for alien contact, they had become exactly what the galaxy feared most. The transformation was complete. Humanity was ready for war. 2 years after the crash, the galaxy was at war. What had started as a simple quarantine operation had exploded into the largest military conflict in galactic history. Admiral Sarah Collins stood in the command center of New Gibraltar, humanity's first military base built on an asteroid in the Alpha Centauri system. Status report, she ordered as she reviewed the holographic display showing human and alien positions across local space. We've got Karathi bioships moving in from the Vega sector, reported Lieutenant Commander Walsh, who had been promoted after the Liberty's successful breakthrough of the alien quarantine. Their insect ships are carrying some kind of biological weapon. Dr. Williams thinks it might be designed to target human DNA. Collins nodded grimly. The Karathi were an insectoid hive mind species that the Galactic Council had brought in specifically to deal with the human infestation. Their ships looked like massive flying beetles, and they fought with living weapons that adapted to their enemies. What about the ethereal collective? Collins asked. Still trying to disrupt our power grids, Walsh replied. But Dr. Carter's new shielding technology is holding. The energy beings can't seem to figure out how to counter our quantum field generators. The war had escalated beyond anything the Galactic Council had expected. After humanity's breakout from the solar system, more and more alien species had joined the conflict. The silicon-based Christarch had brought planet-killing weapons. The gas giant-dwelling Nebulans had provided their weather control technology. Even the peaceful Volari's cousin species, the Altari, had joined the fight against humanity. But each new alien technology only seemed to make humans stronger. Dr. Chris Bradley ran into the command center, clutching a datapad with obvious excitement. Admiral, you need to see this. We just finished analyzing that Karathi bioship we captured last week. Collins studied the report with growing amazement. You're telling me their biological weapons can be reverse engineered? Better than that, Bradley replied. The Karathi create living ships that grow and adapt. We've figured out how to make them adapt to serve us instead. Give us 6 months, and we'll have a fleet of bioships that are loyal to humanity. This was the pattern that had emerged throughout the war. Every alien species that attacked humanity brought new technology and new ideas, and humans, with their chaotic, innovative minds, found ways to turn those weapons against their creators. Ashley Turner's production facilities, now spread across a dozen different star systems, were working around the clock to incorporate each new alien technology they encountered. Her engineers had become masters at rapid adaptation. The Christarch thought their silicon-based technology would be impossible for organic beings to understand, she reported during the weekly strategy meeting. They were wrong. We've not only figured out how their crystal computers work, we've improved them. Our new quantum crystal hybrid processors are faster than anything the galaxy has ever seen. Maria Santos, who had started as an underground resistance leader but was now humanity's chief intelligence officer, brought even more disturbing news about their enemies. "We've been intercepting Council communications," she reported. "They're panicking. The reports coming back from the front lines describe humans as impossible to predict and dangerously adaptive. Some Council species are starting to question whether the war was a good idea. But the most significant discovery came from an unexpected source. Dr. Amanda Price, despite her initial opposition to the militarization of alien technology, had been working with captured alien prisoners to better understand their psychology. "I've been interviewing the Zephyrian officers we captured during the Battle of Proxima," she reported to the Council. "What I've learned changes everything we thought we knew about this war." The room fell silent as Price continued her briefing. "The Galactic Council isn't just trying to contain humanity because we're developing too fast. They're terrified because we represent something they've never encountered before. Every other species in the galaxy develops technology slowly and carefully. They perfect each advancement over centuries before moving to the next step." General Morrison leaned forward. "And we're different?" "Completely different," Price replied. "We take new technology and immediately start changing it, combining it with other ideas, finding new applications they never considered. What they see as reckless innovation, we see as normal problem solving." Dr. Bradley nodded in understanding. "That's why we've been so successful at reverse engineering their technology. They design things to work in specific ways. We look at their designs and immediately think of 10 different ways to improve them. But there's more," Price continued. "The Council has records going back millions of years. According to their histories, there have been other rapid development species like us, and every single one of them was either contained or destroyed." The room grew cold as the implications sank in. "How many?" Collins asked quietly. 47 species over the past 2 million years, Price replied. "All of them showed rapid technological advancement. All of them were classified as expansion threats. None of them exist today." Maria Santos spoke up. "So we're not the first species they've done this to?" "No," Price said. "But according to the Zephyrian officers, we are the first to successfully break containment. Every other rapid development species was eliminated before they could spread beyond their home systems. This revelation changed the entire nature of the conflict. Humanity wasn't just fighting for their freedom, they were fighting for their very existence. Admiral Collins made a decision that would define the rest of the war. We go on the offensive, full scale. If the Council has been systematically destroying innovative species for millions of years, then this isn't just about us anymore." The human counterattack began 3 weeks later. Using intelligence gathered from captured alien technology and prisoners, human forces launched simultaneous strikes against Council installations across the galaxy. Captain Tony Roberts led the attack on the Karathi home system, using modified bioships that the aliens couldn't defend against because the weapons were based on their own technology. Admiral Nancy Williams commanded the assault on the Crystarch mining worlds, employing crystal-based weapons that could crack planets from the inside out. And Dr. Kevin Park's artificial intelligence systems, now spread across hundreds of human ships, coordinated attacks with a speed and precision that the methodical Council forces couldn't match. But the most shocking victory came when human forces reached the outer territories of Council space and made an incredible discovery. "Admiral," reported Captain Roberts from the newly captured world of Kepler 442b, "you're not going to believe what we found here." The transmission showed the ruins of an ancient city, clearly built by a non-human species. But the architectural style was familiar. It was innovative, creative, and showed signs of rapid technological development. "These ruins are from one of the extinct rapid development species," Roberts continued. "But here's the thing, Admiral. They're not extinct. We found survivors, hidden populations that have been living in secret for thousands of years." Over the following weeks, human forces discovered the same pattern across dozens of worlds. The Council hadn't completely eliminated the innovative species. Small populations had survived, hiding in remote systems, keeping their technology suppressed to avoid detection. Dr. Amanda Price led the diplomatic missions to contact these survivor populations. What she learned horrified her. "They've been living in fear for millennia," she reported. Entire civilizations reduced to scattered refugees, afraid to innovate or advance because they know the Council will come for them again. One of the survivor species, the Nexari, had been hiding for over 50,000 years. Their leader, an ancient being named Kethril, spoke to Price through translation devices that the humans had improved from Valari technology. "Your species has done what we thought impossible," Kethril said. "You have not only survived Council, containment, you have fought back. You have given hope to civilizations that have hidden in the shadows for eons." As word spread that humanity was not only surviving but winning battles against the Council, something unprecedented began to happen. The survivor species started emerging from hiding. They offered their own suppressed technologies, their knowledge of Council weaknesses, and most importantly, their support. The Nexari provided advanced stealth technology that made human ships nearly invisible. The Thylorians shared their expertise in biological warfare that countered Karathi weapons. The Valdorn contributed their knowledge of time manipulation that made human ships faster than anything the Council had ever faced. Admiral Collins realized that the war had changed again. "We're not just fighting for humanity anymore. We're leading a galactic revolution." By the end of the second year, human forces had liberated dozens of systems and were pushing deeper into Council space. The systematic oppression of innovative species that had lasted for millions of years was finally being challenged. Dr. Chris Bradley made one final discovery that would determine the war's ultimate outcome. Deep in the data cores of a captured Council command ship, he found the location of their central command complex. "It's called the Nexus," he reported to the War Council. 5 years after the crash, Admiral Tony Roberts stood on the observation deck of the Human Coalition flagship, looking out at the massive fleet assembled around them. Ships from dozens of species filled the space around the galactic core, all united under the banner of the Human Coalition. The war had changed everything. What had started as humanity fighting for survival had become a galactic revolution. Species that had been suppressed for millions of years were finally free to innovate and grow. Final status report. Roberts requested from his bridge crew as they prepared for the assault on the Nexus, the Galactic Council's command center. "All coalition fleets are in position," reported Commander Lisa Rodriguez, who had become one of humanity's most skilled tactical coordinators. "The Nexari stealth ships are ready to disable their outer defenses. The Thylorian biocruisers will handle their organic security systems, and our quantum-enhanced vessels will punch through their main shields." Dr. Nancy Williams, now serving as the Coalition's chief science officer, had spent months analyzing the Nexus's defenses. "The station is massive," she reported. "It's been the center of galactic government for over 3 million years, but their technology hasn't advanced significantly in that time. They've been so focused on preventing other species from innovating that they've become stagnant themselves." This had been humanity's greatest advantage throughout the war. While the Council had spent millions of years perfecting stable, unchanging technology, humans and their allies had been constantly improving and adapting. Every battle brought new innovations, new combinations of technologies that the Council couldn't predict or counter. President Helen Carter, Dr. Ben Carter's sister who had been elected Earth's leader after the previous administration fell during Muam, the early days of the war, addressed the Coalition fleet from her flagship. "Today we don't just fight for our freedom," she announced to the assembled forces. "We fight to end millions of years of oppression. We fight for every species that was destroyed because they dared to innovate. We fight for a galaxy where advancement and creativity are celebrated, not feared." The assault on the Nexus began at 800 Galactic Standard Time. The massive space station, easily the size of a small moon, had defenses that should have been impregnable. Energy shields that could deflect planet-killing weapons, automated defense systems with the firepower of entire fleets, and weapons that could crack stars. But the Coalition forces had something the Nexus's designers had never planned for: unpredictability. The Nexari ships, using stealth technology improved by human innovation, appeared inside the station's outer defenses without triggering any alarms. They disabled key systems with surgical precision, The Thylorian bioships, now enhanced with human quantum biology hybrid technology, proved immune to the station's biological countermeasures. Their living weapons adapted faster than the automated defenses could respond. And the human ships, using technology that combined innovations from dozens of species, simply punched through defenses that had been considered absolute for 3 million years. Dr. Amanda Price led the diplomatic team that was the first to board the Nexus. As they moved through corridors that had been the center of galactic power for eons, she felt the weight of history. According to the station schematics, "We captured," she reported to Admiral Roberts. "The council chamber is at the center of the station. If we can reach it, we can end this war." The journey to the council chamber revealed the true scope of the Galactic Council's oppression. Room after room contained records of species that had been contained or eliminated for showing rapid development. The systematic genocide spanned millions of years and hundreds of civilizations. "My God," whispered Dr. Chris Bradley as they reviewed the records. "They've been doing this since before Earth even had complex life. How many brilliant civilizations did they destroy?" When they finally reached the council chamber, they found the surviving council members waiting for them. 7 ancient beings representing the oldest species in the galaxy sat at a table that had been used to make decisions for millions of years. The council speaker, an ethereal being whose species had ruled the galaxy since before humanity's ancestors, left the oceans, addressed Dr. Price with a voice like distant thunder. "So the expansion threat species has finally reached us," the speaker said. "You have proven everything we predicted about your kind. You spread chaos wherever you go. You corrupt stable civilizations with your dangerous ideas. You bring war to a galaxy that had known peace." Dr. Price stepped forward, surrounded by representatives from dozens of liberated species. "You call it peace," she replied. "We call it stagnation. You've kept the galaxy in a state of artificial stability by murdering anyone who dared to grow." The council speaker's form shimmered with what might have been anger. "Growth without guidance leads to destruction. We have seen it countless times. Species like yours develop too quickly, become too powerful, and eventually destroy themselves and others. We maintain order. We preserve life." "By ending it," Dr. Bradley interrupted. "We've seen your records. 47 species destroyed. Millions of worlds bombed back to primitive levels. Entire civilizations forced to hide their potential for thousands of years. That's not preservation. That's tyranny." Admiral Roberts joined the conversation via communication link from his ship. "The war is over," he announced. "Your fleets are surrendering across the galaxy. Your authority is finished. The question now is what comes next." The council speaker was silent for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice carried the weight of millions of years of absolute power. "What you have done will lead to galactic chaos. Without the council's guidance, species will develop weapons that could destroy entire star systems. Innovation without restraint will doom the galaxy." Dr. Amanda Price had been expecting this argument. Over the past months, she had been working with representatives from liberated species to develop a new form of galactic government. "You're right that unrestricted advancement could be dangerous," she admitted. "But the solution isn't to prevent all advancement. It's to guide it wisely." She activated a holographic display showing the new governmental structure they had designed. "The human coalition isn't interested in ruling the galaxy. We're proposing a new galactic federation based on voluntary cooperation, shared knowledge, and mutual support." The display showed a decentralized system where species could choose their own rate of development, but with safeguards to prevent truly dangerous technologies from being developed in isolation. Species that want to advance rapidly can do so, but with guidance and support from others who have faced similar challenges, Price explained. Species that prefer slower development are free to maintain their traditional ways, but no one gets to decide for anyone else. Dr. Nancy Williams added the scientific perspective. "Our research has shown that diversity of approach leads to better outcomes. The galaxy needs innovative species to push boundaries, but it also needs conservative species to provide stability and wisdom." The council speaker studied the proposal with obvious skepticism. "And who will enforce these safeguards? Who will prevent ambitious species from developing galaxy-destroying weapons? Admiral, Roberts answered from his ship. All of us, together. The coalition has proven that cooperation between diverse species is more effective than authoritarian control. We've defeated the most powerful military force in galactic history through teamwork and innovation. Over the following weeks, the transition to the new galactic order began. It was not without challenges. Some council species refused to accept the new system and retreated to isolated sectors. A few attempted to develop superweapons in secret, but the coalition's intelligence networks, improved by human innovation and alien expertise, detected and stopped them. But most species embraced the change. Civilizations that had been held back for millions of years finally had the freedom to explore their potential. The galaxy experienced a renaissance of art, science, and culture unlike anything in its history. Dr. Ben Carter, now director of the New Galactic Research Consortium, made discoveries that revolutionized understanding of the universe itself. By combining human innovation with the accumulated knowledge of dozens of species, his teams unlocked secrets of physics that no single civilization could have discovered alone. Ashley Turner's manufacturing techniques, enhanced by alien technologies, and distributed across hundreds of worlds, created abundance that eliminated scarcity for the first time in galactic history. And Dr. Amanda Price became the first director of interspecies relations for the new Galactic Federation, helping former enemies learn to work together. But the most significant change was philosophical. The galaxy's approach to advancement shifted from how can we prevent dangerous development to how can we guide beneficial development? 5 years after the crash of a simple research vessel, the galaxy had been transformed. The human coalition had proven that rapid advancement didn't have to lead to destruction if it was guided by wisdom and cooperation. Admiral Roberts, now serving as the coalition's military coordinator, often reflected on how far they had come. "We set out to defend Earth," he said during a speech to the new Galactic Assembly. "We ended up liberating the galaxy." 18 months after the crash, Captain Roy Mitchell stood on the bridge of the USS Liberty, humanity's first true starship. Built using a combination of human engineering and alien technology, the vessel was a symbol of how far they had come in such a short time. "Contact on long-range sensors," reported Lieutenant Commander Steve Walsh from his tactical station. "Multiple vessels approaching from the direction of Alpha Centauri. Size estimates suggest they're much larger than our ships." Mitchell felt his heart rate increase. This was the moment they had all been preparing for. "Signal Earth Command, tell them our visitors have arrived." The approaching fleet consisted of 7 massive vessels, each one easily 10 times the size of the Liberty. They moved in perfect formation, their sleek designs clearly marking them as products of advanced alien civilization. Dr. Helen Davis, Earth's chief diplomatic advisor, had been stationed aboard the Liberty specifically for this moment. She studied the alien ships through the main viewer with a mixture of fear and fascination. "They're beautiful," she whispered. "But they're also clearly military vessels." On Earth, the news of the alien arrival sent shockwaves through every government. President Carter held an emergency session with world leaders, while Dr. Amanda Price and her team worked frantically to establish communication protocols. The alien fleet stopped just outside the orbit of Pluto and sent a single transmission toward Earth. The message was in perfect English, translated by technology similar to what they had found on the Volari ship. "Greetings, inhabitants of the third planet," the message began. "We are representatives of the Galactic Preservation Council. I am Admiral Zepha of the Zephyrian Fleet. We have come in response to a distress signal from a Volari research vessel." Dr. Price listened to the message from the command center they had built near the crash site. The alien voice was pleasant, almost musical, but there was something cold about its tone. "We understand that you have discovered Volari technology and have begun incorporating it into your civilization. This is a matter of great concern to the Council. We request immediate dialogue with your leaders." The response from Earth was swift. Admiral Sarah Collins, now in command of humanity's Space Defense Force, transmitted a reply from the lunar base that had been constructed in secret. over the past year. Admiral HFY, this is Admiral Collins of the Earth Defense Force. We welcome peaceful contact with your people. We are prepared to meet and discuss any concerns you may have. The alien reply came within hours, and its contents chilled everyone. Who heard it? Admiral Collins, after reviewing your species' rapid technological advancement, the Council has determined that humanity poses a significant threat to galactic stability. Your rate of development is unprecedented and dangerous. We are here to offer you two choices. Dr. Price felt her stomach drop as she listened to the alien ultimatum. First, you may voluntarily surrender all technology derived from the Volari vessel and submit to a guided development program under Council supervision. This process will take approximately 100 of your years, during which your species will learn proper technological restraint. Colonel Morrison, now General Morrison, clenched his fists as he heard the terms. Second, if you refuse these terms, we will implement a quarantine protocol around your star system. No vessels will be allowed to leave, and any attempts to do so will be met with force. Your species will remain contained until you demonstrate proper civilizational maturity. The transmission paused, and when it resumed, the alien's tone was even colder. We have observed your species for the past 18 months. Your immediate militarization of Volari technology, your aggressive expansion into space, and your concerning rate of innovation all mark you as what the Council terms an expansion threat species. Such species have appeared before in galactic history. They inevitably bring chaos and destruction if left unchecked. Dr. Helen Davis worked with her team to craft a diplomatic response, but the world's leaders had already made their decision. President Carter spoke for all of humanity in a broadcast that was transmitted simultaneously to the alien fleet and every nation on Earth. Admiral HFY, we appreciate your concern for galactic stability. However, humanity rejects both of your offered choices. We will not surrender our technology, and we will not submit to alien rule. Earth is our world, and we will determine our own destiny. The alien response was swift and uncompromising. This is regrettable but not unexpected. Your species' aggressive nature was documented in the Volari reports. Very well. As of this moment, your star system is under Council quarantine. Any attempt to leave will be considered an act of war against the galactic community. But Admiral HFY had underestimated how much humanity had learned from the Volari technology. Unknown to the aliens, human long-range sensors had been tracking their fleet for weeks. Dr. Ben Carter's quantum AI systems had analyzed their ship designs, energy signatures, and tactical formations. They're using technology that's maybe 50 years more advanced than what we found on the Volari ship, Carter reported to the Defense Council. Superior but not overwhelmingly so, and their tactical thinking appears to be very conservative. Ashley Turner had been preparing for this confrontation for months. Her factories had produced dozens of small, fast attack ships equipped with the most advanced weapons humanity could build. Their ships are big and powerful, she explained to Admiral Collins, but they're also slow and predictable. Our vessels are smaller, but they're faster and more maneuverable. In a fight, that could make all the difference. The standoff lasted for 3 days. The alien fleet maintained position at the edge of the solar system, while humanity's forces took defensive positions around Earth and Mars. Both sides seemed to be waiting for the other to make the first move. Dr. Amanda Price made one final attempt at diplomacy. She transmitted a message directly to Admiral HFY, using the communication protocols they had learned from the Volari ship. Admiral, we don't want war. Humanity is willing to discuss reasonable limits on our expansion and technology development, but we will not surrender our freedom or our right to grow as a species. The alien admiral's response revealed just how different their thinking was from human thought processes. Dr. Price, your offer demonstrates the exact problem the Council seeks to address. You speak of reasonable limits and rights to grow, but you fail to understand that rapid development inevitably leads to galactic conflict. In our experience, species like yours always choose expansion over stability, innovation over safety. But what if we could prove otherwise? Price asked. What if we could show you that humans can be responsible with advanced technology? Impossible, HFY replied. Your species has already demonstrated its nature. In 18 months, you have gone from primitive spaceflight to interstellar capability. You have immediately weaponized every piece of Valari technology you discovered. You have unified your entire planet around the principle of resisting counsel, authority. These are the exact behaviors that mark a species as an expansion threat. General Morrison had heard enough. Admiral Collins, he transmitted to the lunar base, execute Operation Breakout. What happened next shocked the Zephyrian fleet. Instead of the expected human surrender or desperate defensive action, dozens of small human ships suddenly appeared throughout the solar system. They had been hiding in asteroid fields, behind moons, and in the shadows of planets. The human vessels didn't attack the alien fleet directly. Instead, they began a coordinated jump to hyperspace, breaking through the alien quarantine at multiple points simultaneously. Admiral HFY watched in amazement as human ships disappeared into faster-than-light travel, scattering in all directions across the galaxy. "How is this possible?" he demanded of his science officer. "They should not have hyperspace capability advanced enough to break our containment field." "Sir," the officer replied nervously, "their technology appears to be a hybrid of Valari science and their own innovations. They've created something we've never seen before." By the time the Zephyrian fleet could react, it was too late. Humanity had broken the quarantine and scattered across the stars. Some ships headed for the nearest alien colonies, others toward unexplored regions of space, and still others toward the Galactic Council's home territories. Admiral HFY realized, with growing horror, that humanity had just proved every one of the Council's fears correct. They were indeed an expansion threat species, and now they were loose in the galaxy. On Earth, Dr. Amanda Price watched the reports coming in from the escaped ships. Part of her was proud of humanity's courage and ingenuity, but another part of her was terrified of what they had just unleashed. "We've crossed the line," she said to General Morrison. "There's no going back now. We're at war with the entire galaxy." Morrison nodded grimly. "Then we'd better make sure we win." As the alien fleet began to pursue the scattered human vessels, Admiral HFY sent an urgent message to the Galactic Council. "The containment protocol has failed," he reported. "The humans have broken quarantine and are now operating freely in Council space. They possess technology and capabilities beyond our initial assessments. I am declaring a Code Red expansion threat emergency. Request immediate reinforcements from all Council fleets."